started the final weekend of the GB3 Championship here at Brands Hatch with 4 title protagonists. After 2 races, we're down to 2 drivers who can get their hands on the coveted championship trophy. Rodin's Louis Sharp only needs 5 points to win his 2nd title in 2 years, while JHR Development's Jon Bennett is the only driver who can stop him. There's 1 race left in 2024, and it's all on the line with the Drivers' Championship and the Teams' Championship up for grabs. And just like the Drivers' title, there are 2 teams fighting it out, with Rodin leading High-Tech Pulsate by 14 points in a battle that's gone backwards and forwards all season. Live coverage of the final race of the season is coming up live here at Brands Hatch. I'm Jon Jackson here, as ever, with former British F3 driver Piers, Pryor and Piers. This is an exciting moment in the championship, and how fantastic it's come down to this very last race. Absolutely Louis Sharp's championship to lose at this stage, but with the reverse grid race, there's a lot that can happen.
Yep, we as onlookers always want it to go to the last race, and it has. You mentioned it's Louis Sharp's. He's in the pound seat. It has to go pretty catastrophically wrong for Louis, and I don't want to jinx it, but Jon Bennett in theory can still take the championship if Louis has a shocker and Jon has an absolutely outstanding race. But we've still got the team's title to be decided. That's very close as well. Yeah, so as I said, 14 points between Rodin and High-Tech Pulsate for the team's championship, and actually a couple of the Rodin drivers starting up there in the top 6. So you would think that again it's Rodin's championship and the team's championship to lose. When it comes to Louis Sharp, he's chilled, he's always very relaxed, he's very dedicated when it comes to his fitness, but also Jon Bennett has experience on his hands. Jon Bennett's been in this championship for 3 years, whereas Louis Sharp is racing here only his 3rd race in the GB3 car at Brands Hatch on the full circuit. So, you know, it's kind of experience over youth. I say that as they're both, you know, not too dissimilar in age. It's going to be absolutely fantastic to see what happens here. Obviously on Louis Sharp's side, he's got our reigning champion in the GB3 Championship, Callum Voisin as well. He's starting P2 on the grid. So, I mean, there's just so much that can go on here. But first of all, as we always do, let's just remind ourselves what happened last time a little bit earlier on.
Highlights from round 23 of the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. A poor start from Mackenzie Cresswell from the front row. A lot of wheel spin from him. We're dropping from 2nd all the way to 4th, leading the title protagonists running 1st, 2nd and 3rd. It's the championship leader, though, leading the race. Louis Sharp into Druids, comfortably clear of Jon Bennett, who was locking up just a little bit. Some big looks down the inside for the likes of Noah Ping, and a bit of a lock-up for Patrick Huizenrode, who would go out wide, departing Druids. Plenty of side-by-side coming down the hill as Noah Ping was going on the attack. First around the outside of Gerard Shee, then down the inside of his teammate as well. So pretty aggressive. Speaking of teammates, here's a big one down the inside. Will McIntyre making contact with Gerard Shee, sending James Headley out into the gravel as well, causing the safety car. Once it was restarted, though, it was a perfect restart from Louis Sharp, who'd come through the final corner to take his 5th victory and give himself a 25-point lead heading into the season finale.
I've actually just been down at Rodin, and they're all fairly confident, but none of them want to suggest it's going to happen, because Louis Sharp, if he finishes 11th in this race, it doesn't matter what Jon Bennett does. Jon Bennett can finish first, and it won't matter, because Louis Sharp will have got enough points to win the championship. If you're Jon Bennett right now, I mean, all you can do is absolutely go for the full set. He's got to go Noah Ping in this race.
Yeah, but to be honest, I think that's what Jon Bennett's outlook will be in this one. Basically for Jon Bennett to win the championship, the only thing he can control is basically trying to go out there and win the race. It's going to be difficult from 11th on the grid, or 12th or 10th on the grid. I can't remember exactly where Jon is, but towards the bottom end of the top 10.
Outside the top 10.
Yeah, outside the top 10. If he wins the race, then he gives himself the best chance if something happens to Louis Sharp. It's unlikely he's going to be able to do that, but that's all he can do, and that's what he'll be concentrating on. It's just ignore Louis Sharp, drive the best race he can.
It's going to be really interesting to see. As ever, we've got a lot of people watching around the world. So hello if you are watching from New Zealand, or if you're watching here in the UK supporting Jon Bennett, or maybe you're supporting our pole sitter, who's Nikita Johnson from the United States with the VRD by Arden team. Nikita Johnson, someone who made his debut halfway through the season, and you know, he's a real protege over in North America. And you would think that having seen 2 drivers win from pole position so far in the GB3 Championship this weekend in Mackenzie Cresswell and Louis Sharp, he's got a great chance of a race win here.
Yeah, he's got a great chance to take another race win. Of course, he's a reverse grid race winner from rounds previous, but yeah, at Brands Hatch, we've spoken about it. Very difficult to overtake if the pace is similar between you and the other drivers, and if he gets away off the line well, then he can very well do that. The American drivers don't have so much experience doing standing starts to the European counterparts, and we've seen that consistently their race starts when they come into the championship aren't as good, but you know, he's half a season in now.
Fantastic on the safety car restarts though.
Oh,
very
brilliant.
familiar to
Yes,
me.
very familiar. But no, hey, Nikita Johnson, we know he's had the pace at various times. He's looked like he's been on the edge of grip. I was watching him through turn 1 in qualifying. He's very comfortable with that car moving around, but all he got to do is effectively get off the line and then have a consistent race, and he could take the win. But the two Rodin cars in 2nd and 4th will be trying to try and get past and secure that team's title.
Callum Voisin starting on the front row of the grid. You know, you wouldn't bet against him, would you? Put it this way. Now, something we wanted to bring you actually before the first race, but we went a little bit early. We got another familiar face back on the grid. Someone who had probably the best moment, bless you, of his career actually here, winning the GB4 Championship last time. Hasn't raced since, but he's back. He's making his debut this weekend in the GB3 Championship. It's Tom Mills, and I caught up with him ahead of the race weekend just to see how he was feeling as he dusted off the rust and got back into a car. I'm now here with the reigning GB4 champion, Tom Mills, making your debut this weekend in GB3. Do you remember the last time we spoke here?
Yeah, I won the GB4 Championship a year ago, yeah.
And there were tears, your dad was emotional, everyone was emotional. We spoke to your girlfriend, we spoke to your sister, everyone was just emotional for you. And now you've progressed to GB3, it's your debut in GB3. It must be, you know, a pretty special moment for you and your family.
Yes, it's very nice to come back here and make my debut. It's a very tough track to make a start. It's very hard out the back. The Grand Prix circuit is very, very tough in a car like this. But yeah, it's been a long 1 year off, not driving anything for a year. It's been hard to get back going, get back into it. But yeah, with a few days testing I've had, I think I'm starting to get the hang of it now.
We've seen some pretty impressive times for you in the testing. Was that, I'm not going to do you down at all here, but you're very good in the wet. We saw that in GB4 and there were obviously very wet conditions.
Yeah, I've been much more competitive in the rain, and unfortunately I don't think there's much rain coming for the weekend. Would have liked a bit of rain. It's more of a leveler. In the dry, I think I'm pretty on the limit to what I can do, but obviously with the experience of some of everyone else on the grid, some are in their 3rd year even. Yeah, it's a big ask to try and match what they're doing. My teammate James is obviously well experienced, so I can see in the data where I'm losing out. A lot of it's just confidence and experience in the car, and that is obviously levelled when it rains. So. Yeah, I would have liked a bit more rain this weekend, but we'll get what we're given, and I think it's going to be dry, so yeah, I'll just keep on working and see what I can do.
As you said, it's been a very long year since you were in that GB4 car. How has that been? Because as someone who races and has done so well, you know, absolutely dominated last year, it must be pretty tough to only just be getting back behind the wheel.
Yeah, I've just been living my racing life through KMR this year, really. That's obviously been going really well, driving coaching our 3 or 4 drivers we've had there this year. But yeah, you're always itching to get back at yourself. I knew it was going to be tough getting back in the car, but then even just the step up, if I'd got back into a GB4 car, something like that, I think it would have been a lot easier. But if I'd made this step at the end of last year, I still think I would have found it quite difficult. There's so much difference about it. The driving styles are so different. So yeah, one year's off too long really, but yeah, I'll give it my best and hopefully make the most of it.
All the drivers are telling me it's all about qualifying here, and it's quite hard to overtake. So if you nail qualifying, then it's going to be looking pretty good for maybe even a podium. I'm going to put it out there. What are you hoping for finally this weekend? What's achievable, or what's your goal?
Yeah, I'm not hoping for much. I'm keeping my expectations very low. I had a few tough sessions in the dry, quite humbling some of them. But yeah, I'm going to give it my all in qualifying. Anything can happen. Hopefully get some laps in, no traffic, things like that. I've never done a qualifying session this long before. The 15-minute GB4 sessions are quite short, so that'll be something to get used to. I've got more chances of getting a lap in. But yeah, obviously if you get in it's very hard to overtake here. So if you qualify near the back, you're probably going to stay there. And if you don't make the reverse grid cut, then you're also not going to do very well in the last race. So I think if I make the reverse grid, that would be very nice. But yeah, I'm just enjoying every moment, and whatever happens, I'm just keeping on smiling.
Well, it's great to see you back. Also, it's your last weekend as the reigning GB4 champion, so enjoy that accolade for a bit longer, Tom. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Great to see Tom Mills back. Of course, he's been very much across the GB4 paddock, team champions with KMR Sport. He even designed the logo, so he's very much ingrained there. And he's coaching the drivers as well, Harry Burgoyne Jr., Chloe Grant, and of course Lucas Blakely, who had a great race win in the first race of the day here in GB4. More to come from GB4 a bit later on. We talk about the teams battle. Obviously, we talked about Rodin quite a lot. High-tech pulsate. Gerard Shee, he starts 5th, so you know you'd think that he's going to be up there challenging for a podium. It's going to be tough for them, isn't it? And also Gerard Shee coming off the back of the disappointing race too.
Yeah, we saw in the highlights just there. I'm sure everyone at home watching saw the unfortunate coming together between the two High-Tech Pulse 8 cars there, between McIntyre and Shi, and that did not help them in the High-Tech Pulse 8 Teams Championship, which is what gave Rodin the lead. Shi is kind of their hope that he can get himself ahead of both of the Rodin cars and give them a fighting chance of overturning that small deficit they have, because that's going to be the closest thing we're going to be looking at during this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Naomi spoke with Gerard earlier.
Gerard, here at Brands Hatch, how have you found this weekend so far?
It's not so well, I suppose. We got a bit of traffic in qualifying, and then something went wrong on the second last lap in race 1, and then I got taken out on the race 2, so it's not so well.
So how do you reflect on this year so far in GB3 with High-Tech?
Yeah, I think this year we improved a lot. I improved a lot as a driver. The team pushed me really hard, and yeah, I can't thank them enough. And to see how many progress I made from the end of last year to now is like impressive.
And obviously High-Tech and Rodin are still in the team's fight for the championship. Have you discussed that within the team yet?
No, I think we just go out there and do the best what we can, and yeah, hopefully we'll see. I think we need a miracle to win that, so yeah, we'll see.
Thank you, Gerard.
I see Gerard and a lot of his family here as well, supporting him as ever. Has some good results actually this year, obviously hoping to go out this season with a decent result as well, starting, as I say, P5, so hopefully he'll make up for what happened in race 2. Starting P6 is another big character on the grid, and I mean the car that you love the most, purely because it's the easiest to spot.
Yeah, it is.
When he's going around the track, Patrick Herzenreuter. He actually did a round last season, didn't he? And then he came and did the full season here. And I mean, just lovely to have people from so many different countries. Obviously, Pat is Australian, and if you're watching in Australia, good day. Great for you to be up so late.
Good evening.
Hang on. It's probably, no, it'd be like 4 or 5 a.m. at the moment. So if you are up, thank you very much for watching. It is, great for people to watch from all around the world. And I've been impressed with Pat because. Yeah. He's had a lot of great drivers around him that he's been fighting out for, and I think he'd been a little bit disappointed with some of his results, but he's always been up and around there. I think he's been on the grass a few times as well, which we've spotted with that very, very obvious Hard Rock sponsored car.
Yeah, it's good to see Pat. Of course, he sampled the championship with us last year and full season this season. He started off, just finding his feet, but I think really towards the second half of this season, he's been more consistently up inside the top 10. Yeah. Had some really strong results. Struggled a little bit maybe this weekend. We saw him go through the grass you mentioned, but yeah, it's great to see that the GB3 Championship is becoming a truly international championship.
Absolutely is, and of course next year we'll be racing in 4 different European cities along with the United Kingdom as well. So absolutely amazing things to come next year, including that new car. But first of all, let's hear from the man himself. This is Patrick Herzenreuter. So Pat, the last race of the season's coming up here. We've enjoyed watching your very striking car go round, and I know Lewis and Piers on commentary love the fact you've got that car because it's always very easy to spot where you are. How's your season gone? What's your highlight been?
I think season's been like constant improvement, which I've been really happy with. Got a bit unlucky in the last couple of rounds, which has hurt the points, but we're not really fighting at the top in the championship, so it's just all about experience. I think highlight's got to be European tracks. Hungary was really strong for me, and then Zandvoort was also really strong for me. So that's great. And then, like you say, with the Hard Rock Cocktails livery, it's pretty easy to spot on track.
Yeah, it's a very striking car, and thank you again for that. When you look at sort of what's in your future, obviously, I'm sure you want to go home and see friends and family because you've been here for a long time.
Yeah, I've been here since February. So I think I'll go home a little bit earlier this year, which would be nice. I mean, last year I landed on Christmas Eve, so yeah, get home, see friends and family, see the sun, yeah, and just hang out and always thinking about racing, but have some time away from the racetrack.
It's a perfect time to go down under, isn't it? Because you get the Australian summer, you get the cricket season as well, which I'm not sure if you're a fan of, but I would love. When you look at next year, have you got an idea of what you want to be doing?
Not sure yet, but I mean we're ending the season pretty early in October, so we've got plenty of time to think about it. But yeah, just looking forward to going home. Like I say, cricket season, I'm a big cricketer, so yeah, keen for that, and we'll have discussions with whatever we're doing next year across the summer.
Do you have someone feeding you the cricket score, by the way? I know you've got radios in the helmets now. We've got the final game, yeah?
Yeah, no, I haven't actually. I need to go and check the score. How's it going?
I have absolutely no idea, and by the time this goes out, I have no idea. But you know what? I think England done well to get back from 2-0 down, right?
I mean, they have. Australia often end up 2-0 up and then fall off a little bit, but hopefully we can get it done.
Have you got a Big Bash team?
Sydney Sixers for sure.
I'm more of a Melbourne Stars.
Okay, yeah.
Well, sorry.
No, well, we just watched the AFL yesterday.
Oh, the grand final. Did you see Katy Perry was playing at that?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, but
who won? Was it the? Don't tell me. Lions, not the Lions.
Yeah, Lions. Yeah.
Is that bad?
I was going for Swans, so that was.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
Oh, well, look, have a great last race of the GB3 Championship this year. Hopefully, maybe we'll see you back one day and enjoy that time back home and say hi to your friends and family for us.
Yeah, thanks very much. I've really enjoyed this championship.
All good things must come to an end, and with it, GB3 is about to close its door, and the chapter of the GB3 Championship partnered by the BRDC. It's been an incredible season so far, with victories from Louis Sharp, from John Bennett, from Will McIntyre, Timothy Kuharczyk, Gerard Shee, Arthur Rojon, Mackenzie Cresswell and Nikita Johnson. It has been a long run since the start of the season back in Alton Park. Is there a ninth driver to add their name to that list, and which driver is going to come on top in the championship? Louis Sharp has a 25-point lead with one final 25-minute run around the Brands Hatch circuit left to go to decide the title race. It is going to be exciting, it's going to be enthralling, and it really is his to lose. On the Teams Championship, it's incredibly close as well, and as they do battle once more around this roughly 2.5-mile circuit, it is going to be brutal out there. They are on the formation lap now, and they are ready to go racing, and of course, it's going to be difficult for them to keep their noses clean. They'll want to grab what they can grab on this final lap of the race. The final lap of the season, basically, is they'll work their way onto the grid box. Lewis, McGlade, Piers, Pryor in the commentary booth. You can see them working their way down. Should be a lot of fun here.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Final race of the season. Here we go. That is your championship leader right there, number 7, Rodin Motorsport car of Louis Sharp. He basically just needs a clean race to guarantee himself the championship. His only championship rival, John Bennett, is going to be pushing hard, though, to see what he can do.
Yeah, first or second is what John Bennett needs, and then he needs an awful lot of luck to help him through that one. Nikita Johnson, you can see there, will be starting from pole position with Callum Voisin alongside. Jared Oberski, Arthur Rojon 3rd and 4th. Gerard Shee, Pat Hoyson-Road are starting 5th and 6th. Will McIntyre and Hugo Schwarzer in 7th and 8th. Timothy Kuharczyk, though, will start from 9th position. Then Louis Sharp, John Bennett, Mackenzie Cresswell, Headley and Queen in 13th and 14th. Murray, Ping, Rashid Irfan, Tom Mills and Aditya Kulkarni, the 20 cars on this grid. It'll be 25 minutes of racing. Nikita Johnson looking for a second victory. Callum Voisin looking to become the 9th different winner of the season. The season finale is about to start. 24 races are ready to be complete. The lights are on and we are racing for the final time in 2024. Good start from Nikita Johnson. Good start from Will McIntyre as well on the high-tech pulsate. Oh. There's already a crash in the background, I think, with one of the VRDs that might have gone for a bit of a spin. Could be Sean Rashid. We'll double down on one in a second as they work their way down the hill. Louis Sharp must keep his nose clean of that number 7 black car. Huge lock-up from Gerard Shee and a big spin for the 33 of Hugo Schwarzer.
He already had a right rear puncture when he went into that corner, so that was what caused that spin. Oh, it's 3 wide as Bennett's looking around the outside of his championship rival and gets that done. Bennett wide though. Can Sharp get back up the inside? They're still side by side. Sharp's probably just going to drop him behind. He doesn't need to beat Bennett in this race.
Yeah, and with where Hugo Schwarzer is, I'm pretty sure they all might be aware, especially back here, there could well be a safety car out. I think that car might be a little bit harder. He's still in the gravel trap at Druids. We can see that out of the commentary box. And the safety car has just been deployed. So that will neutralise the race then. Hugo Schwarzer into the barrier. And of course, there was one of the cars, and I'm just double checking, it was Noah Ping, unfortunately, in the VOD racing cars.
Was it
right on team?
Oh, it was
wrong
Noah
on,
Ping.
wrong on driver.
Yes, there we go. That is Hugo Schwarzer. You can see him shaking his head. He'll be physically okay. That wasn't a big hit. The gravel and nice soft tyre and sponge barriers doing their job, but that car already had right rear puncture going into that corner, so that may have been potentially come from some of the contact earlier in the race. No, it must have been some contact going down Paddock Hill, because he was nowhere near Noah Ping on the grid.
Oh, I've just seen, I don't know if we'll get that shot again, if you look at the front right of Louis Sharp, it's not major, so any Louis Sharp fans, please don't panic. But I'm pretty sure there's some front wing damage on the right end plate. The end plate is still intact, but it does look as though where you've got the Pirelli branding and stuff, it does look as though some of that's been chipped away. For Hugo Schwarzer, by the way, in the championship, yes, there's been a retirement because there's an issue for Noah Ping as well, who is his main rival for 9th in the championship, won't change. Talk me through this.
Yes, the start. Great start from Nikita Johnson. Look at the right, number 21, grey car in the background, but also it was the two VRD cars that came together that way, the back of shot. That was Johnson, no, not Rashid. Johnson, Rashid and Ping. Then let's have a look at Hugo Schwarzer. Unfortunately, where's Schwarzer in the grid there? Yeah, Schwarzer already has a puncture at that point. You can see him sliding, and then when he brakes, that tyre, Sharp! Sharp was at the most stressful first 3 corners of the season so far. 3 wide going into Paddock Hill, then nearly gets taken up by Schwarzer, then goes side by side. They go side by side with his championship rival through Graham Hill Bend, but survives so far. Looking at Tom Mills there, his car's okay, but the running order at the moment, still Nikita Johnson from the 2 Rodins. That's good for Rodin in terms of the team championship, and we're looking at Louis Sharp now. The right,
it is.
He's lost the little turning vane that sticks on the out. So if you look at the front wing of Nikita Johnson, it's got a little sort of N-shaped turning vane on the bottom edge, or the sort of the side edge, and that just, I don't know, seals the corner of it, adds a little bit of extra downforce. So there's clearly been some contact, whether that was with Schwarzer or Bennett, we didn't quite see. Won't make a huge difference. He'll pick up a little bit of understeer in corners like this, Hawthorns and Westfield and stuff, but he doesn't need to be charging forwards. He just needs a clean race, and I think he's probably glad that things are no longer 2 and 3 wide.
And also, so 2 things on that. Number 1, just my vision was all right there. That's all right. Just
very
that
good.
One out. Thank you.
Good spot
there. After I've patted myself on the back a little bit though, one major thing. This is a huge positive for Louis Sharp right now, because again, he basically needs a top 10 and he'll win the championship regardless. He's still in 10th place. Fair enough. John Bennett's not made up that much progress. He's only made up 2 positions in his 9th, and the race is neutralised. This will become a timed race basically. It might not be because it's 25 minutes. We'll cross over that bridge when we get to it. The thing is, though, this is taking laps away from John Bennett.
It is. I mean, we've mentioned it before, it's a bit of a long shot for John Bennett to actually win the championship in this one. He would need to have been well inside the top 10 towards the podium already by now to have a realistic chance of even keeping the championship alive regardless of what Sharp does. But currently with Sharp in 1 position behind Bennett, and they're both down towards the bottom end of the top 10. It's looking like it's still going to be Sharp's championship at this stage. But again, who knows? Sharp still needs to finish. Who knows about a sudden rain shower? It's been cold this weekend. We've had a lot of rain in the UK recently. Who knows, Lewis?
You've seen out the window.
I mean, it's
not that bad.
Cold and cloudy, but I'm saying these are the sort of things that would need to happen. So yeah. What about the team's championship though, Lewis? I know you're just plugging in some numbers, so I'll let you continue.
No, I've done. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to update you on the. Actually, no, I'm not. I've missed one bit. I've missed one really.
I'll continue to talk while you. Yes, so of course it is between High-Tech Pulse 8, which are the drivers of Kuharczyk, Shi, and McIntyre. The grey cars. There's 21 is McIntyre, 23 is Shi, and 22. They're all line astern at the moment. Then the Rodin team of this weekend is Voisin, Sharp, and Rojon. Of course, we have 2 Rodins currently on the podium with Voisin and Rojon. So they are currently in a position, I would imagine, to be taking the lead out of this race and taking that team's championship. Lewis, fill us in.
Yeah, no, I missed 2 points because obviously I didn't count for the positions gained in the race.
One for Rojon.
1 for Rojon, 1 for Will McIntyre as well. who wasn't penalised, by the way, from the previous race.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a moment, because
Yeah.
that's a controversial topic. At the moment, as things stand, Rodin would take the team's championship on 933 points. It would be 906 for High-Tech Pulse 8. So right now, huge advantage to Rodin, who, of course, as you say, running second and third at the moment.
Yes, it was. We did say in the previous race, I was expecting some sort of fairly harsh penalty for Will McIntyre. Safety car lights are out, so we're probably going to go green very, very shortly. And the leader at the front of the race, Nikita Johnson, is slowing down the pack so he can try and pull away. Very, very close is Callum Voisin, who's going to try and take another victory in this championship for himself and also for the Rodin team. And Callum Voisin's right under the rear wing.
Do you see how out of line Louis Sharp was? Absolutely no risk of anyone driving into the back of him or him driving into someone. Just keeping it out there, because that's what could change things here. So then, we are back racing. Nikita Johnson's leading. Here comes Jared Oberski on the high side, trying to go around the outside to take over third position on Arthur Rojon. But behind all that, we're having the overtakers. Pat Huizenrode is dropping back. Louis Sharp, though, sending one down the inside. John Bennett goes to the outside of the 22 of Timothy Kuharczyk, though. Still side by side as they leave the corner. I think he needed to send it there, otherwise he was going to be dropping back right into the clutches of the the Christman racing car behind him.
Yeah, this is not ideal for Louis Sharp. He doesn't want to have to be racing people.
Whoa!
He have no choice. Round the outside, can Callum Voisin go? No, Nikita Johnson shows him only the grass and the dirt. That's good racing at the front of the field. Nikita Johnson's going to need to absorb a lot of pressure from a driver who we know can overtake around this circuit, Lewis.
Five-time race winner in GB3 is Callum Voisin, nearly getting squeezed off here at the corner. He had the incident in qualifying a couple of years ago. We've spoken about that a few times on this broadcast. Nikita Johnson is desperate, making that car as wide as possible. But Callum Voisin, with the 5 victories, he obviously had 2 last year. He had 3 the year before, and is looking to at least add 1 to the list to make him a 6-time race winner in GB3 and become the 9th different winner in 2024. He's got a race winner ahead of him. He's got a race winner behind him. Both of them have picked up their top spot on the podium this year.
Yeah, we've got 3 race winners on the podium at the moment, but not, of course, Voisin just jumping back in again for this weekend. Rojon's probably doing quite a smart thing here and just hanging back a little bit, because if Nikita Johnson and Callum Voisin slow each other up, he could swoop through, but if he's too close, you often get collected in an incident. Not that I'm hoping there's going to be an incident. I'm hoping that we get some good, clean racing. It looks like Voisin is continually applying the pressure here. Defensive goes Nikita Johnson once again.
This will be the longest race for Callum Voisin, of course, in GB3, because all the races before were all the same length. They were all 20 minutes last year. This one's 25. Fastest lap just coming from Callum Voisin. I'm not shocked by that. He is looking rapid on the rear end of Nikita Johnson, the 2023 champion, applying pressure. Like you say, Johnson's really doing well to hold that one up. Kuharczyk looks to the inside of Gerard Shee. We'd like to not see the High-Tech Pulsates crash into each other again. Let's see what it's like, though, as we come down. There was a bit of a look from Will McIntyre, but is there going to be a switch for the race lead now? Callum Voisin's close. He looks to the outside as we come up Hawthorne's Hill, almost touching the grass, almost getting squeezed off again. He is playing this very risky.
Yeah, Nikita Johnson is leaving only just enough space for Callum Voisin. That's high risk defending. I think he could do with leaving another 6 inches or so there, because he wouldn't lose that much extra speed, but all it would take was a wheel-to-wheel contact, and they'd be both hard in the gravel.
Yeah,
in the barrier.
Yeah, going a little bit wide there. Whoa, big look from Arthur Rojon. That in the number 18 black and white car. That's 2 teammates, Rojon and Voisin. We've seen the teammates in the High-Tech Pulsate make contact in the previous race. We've seen the teammates in the VRD Racing by Arden cars make contact in this race. And now we're seeing maybe a potential contact. There was definitely a look at the defence there.
I think that was Colin Queen actually looking up the inside of Seb Murray, but we'll cut back to the battle for the lead at the moment. Will McIntyre, since he's got past Patrick Huizenrode with a great move after the safety car, he is putting the pressure on Jared Boberski, who's in 4th, which actually be a good result for Jared Boberski after he got 5th in the previous race as well. So Boberski going well, but McIntyre clearly having a pace advantage at this stage. And then we've got pretty much a nose to tail train for basically everyone else.
Literally everyone. Nikita Johnson then continues to lead. Callum Voisin in 2nd place. Arthur Rojon, Jared Oberski, Will McIntyre. That might switch around. Will McIntyre with a big look coming into Surtees. Does not get his way through in that silver car. Behind that is Patrick Huizenrode, then Gerard Shee, Timothy Kuharczyk, John Bennett, and then champion-elect Louis Sharp. If he finishes where he is finishing, he will become the champion of 2024. He's going to make a big look to the outside of John Bennett here. Maybe he's not satisfied with finishing where he is at the moment.
Well, I think he realises they will have done the maths and he will know exactly where John Bennett needs to be to even give himself a chance. And the likelihood of John Bennett getting into 1st or 2nd position now is so slim that I think Louis can just race easy, race free effectively, as if he would, there was no championship involved. And that's the type of buffer, well, that's what the luxury he has been afforded by the buffer he's built in the championships so far up till now. And we like to see it go that way. We don't want to see drivers just conserving their position. We want to see a proper championship battle. And also these drivers they do it, one, because they're competitive, but two, because they love racing. So they're going to continue to do that until the last lap this season.
We'll say, by the way, there is 14 minutes left to go in the race, with there being 10 laps or 11 laps left to go. We should actually get this done on the lap distance unless the safety car intervenes again. So we should be able to get the final 11 laps of the season done. Fast lap of the race coming in from Callum Voisin. Second position, he's dropped back a little bit there in the first sector on this lap, but is still close enough to apply the pressure. They've both pulled out a decent gap on after Rojon, though.
Yes, he's keeping the pressure on, not quite as close as he once was. It's just got a bit of a buffer. You know, a few laps ago, a couple of laps in a row, Voisin was almost alongside by this point. The only thing is with Voisin, you know, he didn't quite get past in that phase where he had some good speed, and he may have just worn away at that front left tyre a bit too much. We heard from Jared Waberski after the previous race, and he was saying after following Mackenzie Cresswell that because there's so many right-hand corners, medium and high speed right-hand corners in this middle sector, the front left-hand tyre, without that extra downforce in the front wing as with the dirty air, he just scrubs across the surface and it starts to grain and then falls away from him, and then you even end up with less front grip, so it's harder to follow again. So part of the nature of the beast with single-seater slicks and wings racing, you know, we love the speed and thrill of these cars, but at the same time it does make it sometimes quite hard to follow closely.
I had a friend come for this round to have a little gander around the circuit. He was saying he could not believe the speed of these cars around this circuit. They are unreal. And I was even like talking about like old F1 records around here. Not that much slower than that as Waberski drives it in a little bit deep.
Yeah, of course, these cars got sort of about 250 horsepower. It's actually Waberski. He's actually having to go defensive into Graham Hill. So that's good driving from McIntyre's. McIntyre's looking inside, looking outside now. This is the closest battle in the grid. McIntyre's not going to be able to get it done all the way around the outside here, but Waberski offline through the middle. He's had to go wide on the exit. Great exit from McIntyre. We're going to be side by side all the way to Hawthorns.
Yeah, this is a risky one though for Will McIntyre. He's got the speed though. He's got alongside. He's got just about ahead as we get to the top of Hawthorns Hill. Is he going to send it in deep? He's going to try and get all the way around the outside. Brilliant racing between the pair. Waberski on the inside, McIntyre on the outside. They remain side by side in the Westfield. This is going to be a big send once again. There's just a bit of contact between the pair of them, and they're still side by side. Dingledale's next, up towards Sheen, and Waberski hangs on. What unbelievable racing between these two.
Yeah, that was brilliant racing. I don't actually think there was quite contact between the two in Westfield, Lewis, but you saw the dust being kicked up from the underside of McIntyre's car as he ran wide on the exit at Westfield. If he went any wider, his car would have bottomed out, skidded and potentially gone off the road there. Brilliant, close, hard racing. I thought Waberski was going to lose a position to McIntyre on the exit of Hawthorns, but just about carried enough speed while also leaving McIntyre room, as now Bennett's on the attack on Kuharczyk.
That was a defence, pretty aggressive defence from Kuharczyk going down into the first corner. John Bennett's getting aggressive. Love these third races this year. Just reversing the 12 drivers, sticking it up for a slightly longer race, adding an extra 5 minutes to the race distance, and it really turns these races around. We've had some fantastic race threes so far this season, three of which of course have been won by the driver running in third position. That's Arthur Rojon, but they're always very exciting. I really rate this change. We had it from last year where we're basically running full reverse grids to just have the top 12. I think it's made them way more exciting.
Yeah, it's taken away some opportunities for the drivers at the back of the field to get wins, but ultimately those wins were, some would say, not undeserved because you still have to drive the race, but it did make, you know,
less validity.
Yes, somewhat less. But of course, you still need to qualify in the top 12, which, judging by the qualifying lap times this season, you need to be within about 4/10 of the pole position man, or half a second at the very most. Oh, wide goes Gerard Sheen on the exit of Sheen. So to qualify within half a second of pole sounds like a lot, but in these cars, the margins are so fine. Around a circuit with 12 turns, that's just over half a tenth a corner.
Yeah, indeed. Again, I think there's a lot of people enjoying this brilliant race in this one, especially that unbelievable battle between Waberski and McIntyre. Already getting some messages from people saying about how good it was. Henry Moore, somebody who's pretty handy in cars himself, more in the esport as well, but still, just it shows the fan base that we've got here in GB3.
Yeah.
So many people just tuning in to watch. A little bit wide there from Sebastian Murray, and Colin Queen's going to be close. Could we have more battling between these two?
The thing is, when you run wide like that and you get off the racing line and put two wheels on the gravel, as Seb Murray just did there, one, of course, you're using up one of your effectively free track limits tokens. You've only got so many of those before you'll get a warning flag and potential penalties. But two, you pick up marbles and dirt and dust on your tyres, which takes 2 or 3 corners at least to clear away completely. So Seb will be a little bit vulnerable potentially into Hawthorns here, while Colin Queen has a bit more grip. And Colin also, you know, when you're behind a drive and you see them run wide, one, you know they've made a mistake. 2, you know that you put them under pressure to make that mistake, and 3, you know that then they're going to have less grip in the next few corners. So you're very much in a position, as soon as they make the mistake, it's almost like a chink in the armour, and you're going to put extra pressure on. But we'll cut back to this battle for 4th position between Waberski and McIntyre.
Yeah, and McIntyre is certainly not one that will sit behind. He's going to get aggressive here. Callum Voisin might be a bit more patient with Nikita Johnson. We showed this last year with Callum Voisin, is that he wasn't ever like super aggressive. He was always a little bit more patient, and understanding of like when to go on the attack. And he'll probably be a bit more patient behind Nikita Johnson. Will McIntyre is well known for being aggressive, for being elbows out, for being feisty on the track.
Yeah.
And Jared Waberski will be well aware of that. That reputation's carried him around. There's another bit of a look to the inside as they come into Druids.
Yeah, well, yeah, I completely agree with you, Lewis, in terms of McIntyre. We said it in race 2 this morning, but he's come through the field on a number of occasions in race 3, gained a lot of positions, probably been one of the stronger drivers at the front of the field in terms of race 3s, so can clearly overtake, got good speed and commitment. Couple of times just taken it a bit too far, in my opinion, a bit like this morning with his teammate Gerard Shee, but that comes with the territory. GB3, of course, the pinnacle of single-seater racing in the UK, but still a learning championship for these drivers. They learn a lot in every single year that they race, on their way potentially all the way to Formula 1.
Yeah, indeed. Well, again, I'm so excited for the future of this championship. There's so much more, so many more stories to be told, especially with that new car next year. I've been having a couple of chats with some potential drivers for next year already in the paddock today. I don't know if you bumped into any of them. We'll keep that one very quiet though. A lot of potential talent coming through the ranks in British motorsport, and very exciting prospects ahead. And of course, we still have this race to deal with. At the moment, things are in place for Louis Sharp and for Rodin to win both driver and teams championships. But who's going to be finishing up there? Here comes Callum Voisin, then looking to the outside. He's going to go for the up and under here, a little bit wide. Defensive line's being taken by Nikita Johnson. It's going to be sloped towards Druids. Callum Voisin sends it in deep. Tries to go around the outside. That one's not going to work, though.
No, it looked like that Voisin got an overlap before the entry of, the breaking point of Paddock Hills, and Johnson must have had a poor exit out of the last corner, but good defensive driving, defended the inside line and then forced Voisin off the racing line, and you saw Voisin's hands move as he got a bit of oversteer in the middle of Druids off the racing line on the marbles. We've had a GT race in between race 2 and race 3 where lots of marbles would have been put offline, but Johnson, you can see his helmet tilting there, looking in the mirrors. He knows that Voisin is close. No overlap this time, so he can go back to the racing line, but all of this pressure, Voisin is just going to try and keep pushing Nikita Johnson off of the racing line, forcing him to defend because he's more likely to make a mistake that way.
This is an epic duel to end the season on. Nikita Johnson looking for his second victory of the season. Callum Voisin, the 2023 champion, back into it. You really see the marbles around this part of the circuit that you were talking about there. You can really see it to get that low down shot. There's quite a lot that's just kind of left around the circuit. They're flicking them up all over. Callum Voisin once again very close, coming down into clearways to the final corner. There'll be 5 laps left to go after this one. Let's see how close it is coming down to the paddock hill.
Yeah, not close this time, so I think it must have been a little lift on the exit for Johnson as he thought he was running wide, because this time round on a normal exit there was a gap or so. Black and white flag for number 35 for exceeding track limits. That is that man right there, the Rodin driver 35 of Callum Voisin, so he hasn't got many more jokers. I did see him run wide on the exit of Graham Hill on that previous lap actually, Lewis, so yeah. He will get that black and white diagonal flag next time round if he hasn't already received it. He will see that and know that he hasn't got any more jokers to use.
Yeah, indeed, of course. They've got a certain amount that they can exceed track limits on, and then they'll get a penalty. And it'll be a 5-second time penalty after the race if they do so. The next time they exceed, it'll be 10 seconds after that. Callum Voisin will be well aware as to the track limits. But I will say the track limits for him probably in FIA 3 are different to what we run here in GB3.
Yeah, in the UK we run the track limits as the circuit is defined by the white lines or the edge of the curb if there is one present. So basically you can't put any part of your tyres beyond a white line or beyond a curb if a red and white curb is there. So see the red and white curbs, you can drive on those if you want to, if you feel that that is faster, but you can't go beyond that and end up going past it. So places at this circuit where you potentially could gain an advantage by going past the white line or the curb is exit of Paddock Hill, exit of Graham Hill, and that's basically it, because everywhere else around the circuit it's grass and gravel, which is not generally faster in a single-seater.
Which there are some corners in FIA 3 that we're well aware of, turn 1 at Austria at points, where it almost feels like it's as long as you've got part of your outside wheels on the curb, you're all good to go. Just keep 2 wheels on it. And very different to what we're dealing with here. But like I say, that's kind of the nature of racing here. We're well aware of that, jumping in. Like, it's not as if he's not read the rule book and such.
Yeah, it's a skill of a racing driver is knowing the limits of where the track is and how you can get the most lap time out of the car, and knowing how to use those limits to put your car around the circuit as quickly as possible, and getting to that limit and going up to it without going over it as well is another skill. It's so easy to just take, you know, half a kilometre an hour extra speed into a corner, trying to get some extra speed and lap time, and then just running over track limits. Do that 2 or 3 times and you can lose yourself 5 seconds, which you certainly haven't gained back in the extra lap time. But we now see McIntyre once again with the good run. It's going to be an overlap on the outside of Hawthorne's once again. Can't get around the outside. He's looking for a cutback. Oh, you can see the aero wash there, Lewis.
Yeah, indeed. As soon as he dropped back in line behind Wilberski, just did not have the grip on the front end. This the battle for 4th position between Jared Wilberski in the number 20 and Will McIntyre in the silver number 21. He is right on the rear end, though. We'll be coming round to start. 3 laps left to go in the season. So there is opportunities running out. We have plenty of time, by the way. 4 minutes left to go, which is just, well, I say plenty, it's just about enough time for 3 laps as they work their way round. Wilberski is feeling the pressure. Is it close to the race lead? I've just seen him go past the comms box. The answer is no.
Yeah, this gap remains at about 3.5 tenths, so not massive. All it would take is a small error from Nikita Johnson to relinquish that position, much like Jared Wilberski as well. But we'll continue to watch this battle because, as you can see, McIntyre in the grey car in 4th position there, 21. In 5th position, sorry. He's jinking to the inside before the braking zone. The reason he's doing that, Lewis, I know you know this, but for those who haven't maybe watched a huge amount of racing, they jink in the mirrors because they jink out like that, just to try and put the driver ahead off, because these mirrors are so small in these cars, you can't see a huge amount, and all you'll see is a car basically come into vision in your mirror, and it can sometimes put you off. So it's almost like a bit of a tactic.
Yeah. It's almost like if you ever watch like British touring cars or GTs or like that, the flashing of the lights behind it. The open wheel equivalent is weaving behind, trying to fill it in the braking zone.
It's effectively just putting yourself in the brain of the driver ahead, so they have less mental capacity to drive. We see a potential move around the outside with Irfan and Mills. That's a great move from Irfan around the outside of Mills, and now Sean Rashid having a look up the inside. That was very close.
That was very close. Tom Mills, of course, debut weekend for him. Irfan going straight around. He's been here all the way through the season, so it's down to 17th position for Tom Mills. Sean Rashid also involved in that fight after contact between himself and his teammate right on the start of this race. Of course, 2 laps left to go here in GB3 in 2024. Not just of this round, not just of this race, but of the entire season. It is coming to a close.
Yeah, only a couple more laps to go. Are we going to see a change to the lead? I think it's potentially unlikely. That looks like settled down. This looks like the most likely change at this stage, which is for 4th place, 4th and 5th in shot there, Wilberski and McIntyre. Wilberski would love to finish out the season with another strong result. He's had a good weekend.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a good season, to be fair. It's his 2nd season with Wilberski in GB3, of course, being promoted after finishing runner-up in 2022 of the GB4 Championship, and he showed some excellent speed. Very excited to see where he'll go in the future, whether he'll stay in the GB3 paddock or move on somewhere. He could definitely be a title protagonist if he gets his cards right next season with a team move and, of course, with the new cars.
I definitely agree. It'll be interesting to see if we have slightly more returning drivers next year, because the cars are going to get undoubtedly faster. They're going to have more tyre grip, they're going to have more power, they're going to have more aerodynamics, and of course the introduction of DRS for hopefully more overtaking as well. It's almost like the championship is moving up a rung as well in terms of the cars, so maybe the drivers will stay on for a year when they otherwise wouldn't, because the championship is getting bigger in terms of the circuits we visit. We're going to visit Monza next year, of course, at the final round, in addition to the flyways that we currently have, and also its extra experience in terms of a faster car for the drivers. Well, anyway, that remains to be seen. We've still got one more racing lap in 2024. Let's not look too far ahead.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the leaders battling their way through. They're not super close, though. It's just more a battle of pressure. Flags are waving, of course, for Timik Kuharczyk. This is back up to the race lead. Nikita Johnson, surely he's got this. He just needs to keep his eyes focused now. No mistakes.
Yeah, if he keeps his eyes forward, doesn't actually make any mistakes, then Voisin's not going to be able to make a charge here. But let's keep an eye also in the side of the shot at the driver in 10th place, Louis Sharp. He's still right behind John Bennett. That will be enough for the championship, but we'll watch the race lead for now as Nikita Johnson rounds the middle sector for the final time this season. Yeah, indeed. It has been a long run in 2024. It's been a stressful time for all these drivers. Nikita Johnson jumped in after a couple of rounds. He's basically the youngest driver on the grid and has shown himself to be quite the talent, and especially when you're able to keep some of the likes of Callum Voisin at bay. Formula 3 driver, Formula 3 race winner. Absolutely incredible driver in Formula 3, and Nikita Johnson has kept him at bay for
17 laps around Brands Hatch. Incredible drive as Nikita Johnson will win his second race of the season. Callum Voisin will take second. We wait back for Louis Sharp, who will cross the line as the 2024 GB3 champion. It is Louis Sharp on top, and his dreams have been realised. An incredible run in 2023 to take the British F4 Championship. An incredible one this season as well. And what a worthy champion it is. 5 race victories.
Absolutely worthy champion. 5 race victories, consistent results. He's kept his nose clean when possible. Not too many DNFs. A rookie in the championship. Brilliant driving all year. He showed composure. He showed maturity. He showed speed. And of course, he's managed to negotiate some of the, the stiffest competition in UK motorsport to do it as well. And what an impressive season. I'm sure that man right there has a very bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, indeed. And before a lot of you alt F4 and go and play Call of Duty or something like that, I do want to thank all of our fans that have joined us throughout the season here in GB3, because it has been an incredible run. We've seen a great championship battle. Obviously, huge thanks to the top 3 in the championship that have provided this battle all the way through the season. But of course, the fans that come around, the Kuharchik's fans that come around to all the rounds, they're always in chat, they're always active. John Bennett, Louis Sharp's had some fans out here. Thank you to all of you that have joined us through the season.
Yeah, we have an international grid of drivers, we have a worldwide audience, so hopefully all of you will be joining us again next season. The calendar is already out. You can have a look at that on the gb-3.net website, bottom right hand side, but don't go and look at that yet, because we've still got the podium ceremony and also, of course, the championship podium ceremony as well. But just for a moment, let's let Nikita Johnson soak in, as he is the final race winner in GB3, the final race winner in this era of GB3 with this car. It's moved on gradually over the past few years, and we're going to see a effective new era start, but these cars have been brilliant so far, and they've provided brilliant entertainment, and this is a sort of a historic moment.
Yeah, indeed. You're absolutely right. Of course, we've raced this car since the start of 2022. Not quite 75 races, but I think it's 72 races in this car. And that 72nd race in this vehicle does go to... its youngest driver, which is also pretty good as well.
Yeah, it is. We've had a fair few drivers dip in and out of the championship. I think Freddie Slater joined us at one point, a very young driver. But there is our champion. Louis Sharp pounds his chest, fist bumps the air, rightly so. Our champion in 2024. What a brilliant drive. And then that is the fans clapping along to our champion this season. It really has been an impressive season when I think about it. He has driven with such composure. He's never looked out of his depth. Right from the word go, right from the start of the season, he was a favourite. And as a rookie, that's impressive. Hugs from his teammates, hugs from his girlfriend, hugs from family. Careful, don't fall over, Louis.
My goodness, he nearly did as well. Probably going to get a hug from John Bennett as well, I'm pretty sure, and Team Kuharchik, after what has been an incredible battle between a lot of them. But you're absolutely right. The thing is, he's one of the... Let's not forget this. He's one of the youngest drivers on this grid.
He is. He's
right?
one of the...
And to say that he is one of the youngest, he's driven with such maturity, and he's never looked like a driver that's doing something silly that we've kind of questioned and gone, oh, that was maybe a little bit over the line.
You know what, Lewis, I completely agree. We've mentioned Tim Kuharchik. He was in the championship battle right until yesterday's race. He was a championship favourite from the start of the season, one of the fastest drivers, many pole positions, fast races, but occasionally just pushed a bit too hard, as we've seen potentially with McIntyre as well. But we haven't seen any moments like that with Louis Sharp. He's just gone about his business. Qualifying has been pretty metronomic. He's had taken some pole positions, but when he's not on pole position, he was always up to the top end of the top 10.
But he doesn't have the best record in qualifying. Yes, he has won the pole position cup, but Tim Kuharchik actually has a better qualifying record. The average position of 3, whereas Louis Sharp's is 3.1.
There you go.
But
it shows, to average throughout the whole season a qualifying position of 3rd. And there's Callum Voisin, a big hug. He knows how much that means. He knows what that feels like as well.
Yeah, indeed. Obviously, one champion now to another. Provisionally, of course, but it is. Yeah, it's fine. Because John Bennett hasn't finished high enough anyway. So unless everyone got DQ'd and John Bennett didn't, yeah, he's the champion. And like I say, hugs all round, obviously photographs all round, and where the results. Arthur Rojon there, just in the background as well, will probably be one of the next ones to give a bit of a hug to his teammate. And also, let's be honest, for the Rodin team, big celebrations across a lot of them. Not only is it the championship for Louis Sharp, it will be enough to secure them the team's championship as well. So celebrations all round, and especially for this, everyone had to work hard. To come against the likes of High-Tech Pulsate, it has been an incredible run. There is Jonathan Palmer, who'll be ready to hand over a pretty significant trophy to Louis Sharp in a few moments' time. But of course, the big celebrations going on down in pit lane, as they'll probably have to rush their way onto the podium fairly shortly and hand out the trophies before the next amount of racing happens. Nick Taylor, just in the middle of the shot there, of course, the 2022 GB4 champion, out taking photographs for Through the Lens, his little media company and stuff like that, but obviously supporting quite a few of the drivers. There's John Bennett. Said there'd be a little bit of a hug between them. Definitely a handshake. John Bennett's had a quality season. JHR Developments, obviously it's his third different team. He's been really, really solid. Let's take a look, though, at highlights from the race. We'll come back to that in just a moment. Highlights from the final race then of the 2024 season. It was Nikita Johnson starting from pole position. It was Callum Voisin behind. It was an excellent start from our pole sitter, but there was drama behind. Contact between Sean Rashid and Noah Ping would send Noah Ping out of the race before even the very first corner. Unfortunately for him, just spun round his teammate in contact. Bit of a puncture for Hugo Schwarzer as they would get to the top of the hill, would go for a spin and nearly would collect our championship leader. He'd have to go wide. It would cost our championship leader Louis Sharp a few positions, and it would cause a safety car out. After that, we had some unbelievable battling between Waberski and McIntyre, side by side between the pair of them, not for one, not for two, but 3 corners. Absolutely sensational stuff, as McIntyre was desperately trying to get around the outside for 4th. Going out a little bit wide at Westfield Bend would allow Waberski to work his way straight back through, but again, it was the battle for the race lead. Pressure was being delivered right onto the shoulders of Nikita Johnson. Callum Voisin couldn't quite do it. Johnson would take his 2nd victory in GB3. Across the line behind that, it was a victory in the championship for Louis Sharp. An unbelievable performance to have beaten out the likes of John Bennett and Team High-Tech. A perfect season for Louis Sharp. And now we'll jump on to the podium. It's podium o'clock, of course, not just for the race results, but of course for the championship results as well. So we'll see them all onto the podium. We'll see them gather their way, of course, their trophies and such. You can see the drivers there just around where the likes of Jonathan Palmer. There's Team High-Tech for a quick hug with Louis Sharp as well. So we'll see them work their way onto the podium, and we'll hand out all the trophies. Got a lot to hand out in this one, of course, not just the podiums for the race as well, but you've obviously got the podiums, the trophies for the championship, for the drivers' championship, for the team's championship as well. Got the Sunoco Fastest Lap of the Weekend award. Got a lot to hand out and all this. Obviously, if you didn't join us for the race earlier on, we don't have the Jack Cavill Pole Position Cup or the David Paul Warren Pole Position Cup. Of course, that's for the team of the driver with the most poles. That was handed out at the end of the race 2. So if you want to go and watch that ceremony, that was at the end of race 2 on the podium there, where of course John Cavill and Jill Biffa handed out the trophies to both Louis Sharp and to the Rodin team. So that one was ticked off a little bit earlier, so we won't be doing that on this podium ceremony. So again, if you did miss it, jump over that way to see what actually happened. And of course, you can see there plenty of fans out there. They're all gated in because there is a race underway, and so obviously pit lane has to be clear. And we all want to see our drivers onto the podium. Massive Go Louis sign. Obviously, we've seen plenty of Polish flags out and about. I will say, the artistry, it's a black flag with some white text in it. I still respect it though. So you know, we'll take that. Of course, we'll wait for them to jump out onto the podium. 2 Rodin Cutter drivers will be venturing their way out there. Arthur Rojon with a 3rd place finish, a 2nd place finish for Callum Voisin, and then obviously the VRD racing driver of Nikita Johnson taking that excellent victory. Nikita Johnson did win, of course, earlier on in the season at Zandvoort in the 3rd race. He is the lowest placed winner in the championship, but still solid result for him. There is Arthur Rojon to the top step of the podium, of course. Into 2nd place is Callum Voisin. And we await the driver onto the top step. Of course, it will be Nikita Johnson. Second podium of the season as well. Actually had a really good weekend here. A 6th place, a 9th place and a 1st place. His results at Zandvoort, here's a hilarious coincidence for you. It was a 9th and then a 6th and then a 1st. So that's a fun one. Nice little bit of trivia for you. Has same results over the weekend, the exact same amount of points basically as he took with a couple of differences just on positions gained, because I think he gained 1 extra point because he started from 2nd in that race. Either way, there's Jonathan Palmer, the MSV Chief Executive, handing out the Podium's trophies, of course, for the Race 3 podium. Big shake of the hand to Nikita Johnson, and probably a couple of words between the pair of them to probably identify the fact that this is a driver to keep an eye on in the future of motorsport, because he is absolutely quality. Is Nikita Johnson definitely someone to keep focused on if you want to see him rising his way up the ranks. Curious to see where he's going to end up next season, what he's going to end up doing. Hopefully he stays in GB3 and we see that that talent on display, because again he can show that he's got an absolutely rapid amount of pace. Next up will be the Sunoco Fastest Driver of the Weekend award, which I believe will be Jon Bennett, actually, because I think he set the fastest lap in the previous race. We'll have that one updated as soon as he jumped his way out. Of course, he was the driver that won the Omologato Once to Watch award. I saw those being run around the paddock a little bit earlier on. They're basically, if I recall correctly, they're basically a one-of-one watch. Like you can only get them by winning that. Either way, I think we'll actually see the top 3 of the championship come out first. I'll correct myself. It'll be Team Kuharczyk then into 3rd position, Jon Bennett into 2nd position onto the podium, and then of course the top driver. Let the cheers rain out. It's Louis Sharp, the 2024 champion, and there is a big old trophy. Of course, that one for 3rd. Be about the same size for the 2nd place trophy that Jon Bennett will receive. The Polish fans out in force, as they have been all season. Again, thank you all for joining us throughout the run of the season. Celebrations for finishing in 3rd position in the championship. Jon Bennett, who will say had a disappointing run back in 2023, was expecting to really contend for the championship, especially after a double pole and effectively a double victory back in Silverstone last year. Ended up finishing just in 10th position of the championship, no victories, 1 podium, but still 2nd place this season. An excellent run, finishing just a few points shy of that man right there. Receives his novelty check as well, and a big old trophy that he will savour for a long time. It's been an incredible run for Louis Sharp over the last couple of years, and if he keeps progressing like this, well, who knows? Who knows what he'll do? Hopefully we'll see him in Formula 3 as well, because again, showing the speed and talent going up through the ranks, like we've seen with Luke Browning, like we've seen with Callum Voisin. Now, of course, who've obviously moved on to F3, and one race is Luke Browning doing an incredible job in F3 as well. Progressing up through the ranks is such a difficult thing at this level, but when you start doing it at the speed of Louis Sharp, you are seeing a true candidate for the future, and Louis Sharp has definitely proven that. I mean, if you go back and look through the history books, it's kind of one of those ones where you sit back and you think, oh yeah, Louis Sharp could end up in Formula 1. Definitely could, he's got the speed for it. And you may think that's unrealistic, maybe he's not going to, maybe he won't, maybe he won't. When you look back through the history books, you think, wow, some mega drivers have come through the ranks of places like GB3 and have proven themselves very, very well. There is the trophy for the Teams Championship as well. Of course, Rodin receiving that one. And of course, the champagne. No need to worry about these race seats being dry for the next one, because the next race for GB3 will be a fair way away, of course, next year when we go racing once more. So might as well spray it around, lads. Excellent stuff. And brilliant. There is Callum Voisin, finishing a position short of where I demanded he would finish, but that's fine. 2nd place will have to do for Callum Voisin for the Rodin team. Now Jon Bennett comes out. I believe this is for the Sunoco Fastest Lap of the weekend. Omologato Once to Watch award. I said before, it's like it's a special watch that you can only get for being the top driver of the 1st and 2nd race. There is the reward for the Sunoco Fastest Driver of the Weekend award. Did think it was him. That lap in race 2 was enough for him to claim that. So it's been a solid weekend for Jon Bennett. Has scored really, really well. 3 top 10 finishes, 2 second places earlier on, a handful of trophies to take away and back home as well. And it's been a superb year for him. A lot of podiums this year. Again, he had 1 podium, did Jon Bennett, last year. As we'll take a look at results. We won't be able to bring you standings just because I haven't been able to update it. So we won't be able to bring you the standings, unfortunately. But we can at least bring you the results as well. Again, provisional, fair enough. But of course, we'll see the likes of Nikita Johnson on to the top of this. Nikita Johnson, by less than 0.2 of a second, Callum Voisin behind. Arthur Rojon then in 3rd, Jared Oberski in 4th, with Will McIntyre inside the top 5. Great battle between Jared Oberski and Will McIntyre. Take a bow, the pair of those. Absolutely put on a thrilling show. Paul Hizzenroder in 6th position to round out his final race this season, finishing half a second clear of the high-tech Pulsate duo of Gerard Shee and Timek Kuharczyk. Jon Bennett in 9th position with Louis Sharp inside the top 10, but of course enough for him to claim the championship. The final positions, of course, see Mackenzie Cresswell opening the weekend with a very, very solid victory, ending it maybe with a little bit of disappointment, especially with that slow start in the previous race. James Headley in 12th position, of course, Sebastian Murray in 13th. Colin Queen, he's shown so much speed and so much pace throughout the season, so many moves that he's made up. Probably be a bit disappointed with how this weekend's unfolded, but again, definitely someone to look forward to in the future of GB3. Aditya Kulkarni from the back of the field up towards 15th place. Good drive from him actually in that one. With Josh Erfin making an excellent move around the outside at Hawthorns on Tom Mills. Sean Rashid involved in that battle as well. Big shame for Hugo Schwarzer out into the gravel trap, and of course the retirement from Ping. We're going to head down to John's though, because it's time to talk to our champion.
Thank you very much, Lewis. Here we are, Louis Sharp, 2024 GB3 champion. I know that you were close, but you weren't writing it off as something that was a given. Now you have won that championship. How are you feeling?
Yeah, no, I'm super happy. I got to give a big thank you to the whole Road and Motorsport team. They've done a mega job this year. Yeah, obviously rookie season in GB3, they got me up to speed very quickly, and obviously they've turned out to be quite a good team. So no, obviously I knew that. It's my 3rd year with the team. No, really can't ask for a better place to be. So all my success is really down to them. So yeah, huge thank you to them.
We can see behind you right now. I mean, do you know these people?
I do. These are my family. Although I grew up in New Zealand, I do have a lot of family members over here in the UK. So no, big thank you for all of them to come out and support me. Not only this weekend, but they've done the whole time I've been racing over here. So yeah, big thank you to them.
It must be pretty special to win back-to-back championships, because I've said this before to you. That's what people who make it very far in motorsports do.
Yeah, no, I'm so grateful to be in this position. I don't think many people have really gotten F4, and then the next year after gone GB3 championships. And I'm very lucky, very happy to be in this position. And yeah, like I said, give a big thank you to the whole team. Obviously my dad, he's been over here with me the whole step of the way, so a lot of my success is down to him, but also all my family and friends, not only in the UK but also back home. So no, big thank you to everyone involved.
I know it really is like a partnership between you and your dad. So let's get Jason in. Jason, come on. We've just been saying, Louis has been saying that a huge thanks to you, and we've talked about how the fact you moved across here and you've had this kind of amazing bonding experience now, and obviously you won last year, he's won again now. Just incredible.
Yeah, no, unbelievable, absolutely incredible, and he's doing such a fantastic job given the sacrifices that we're all making as a family, but we have some amazing people that are making this happen. David, number one, David Dicker, would not be here without his support, but we have a whole bunch of other people that are helping us on this journey together too. So we just want to say a big thank you to everyone, and for making this unbelievable journey possible. So cool.
How do you feel when you look behind you and see what's going on there?
Yeah, it's pretty wicked, isn't it? Yeah, that's a lot of family and support there, which Louis had all year. So it's kind of feel like we're one big team doing this together, which is fantastic.
I do admire how close you all are. Is there going to be like a victory tour back home in New Zealand? You're going to go back there with all these trophies you've won this year?
Maybe at the end of the year. I think we'll stick around for a little bit more, get obviously prepared for next year, and then I think over Christmas time we'll go back and see all the family.
Now you're the champion, do you want to tell me what's going on next year, or maybe allude to it, give us some hints?
Can't give too many secrets away just yet, but I think we'll be moving on from GB3, taking that next step up, so yeah, we'll just have to see what it is.
You know, I've heard Spain's pretty warm at this time of year, so maybe go and check that out. Congratulations again, 2024 champion Louis Sharp, and also your dad Jason, congratulations to you as well.
Thank you very much.
Well done, buddy. Thank you.
I think you should just give a wave to all the fans there who are loving it. Congratulations. Look at that, that is some serious support. We've been very blessed how much support we've had for the drivers here, with Louis' support there and Timek's Polish Army that have come along, and also John Bennett, who comes runner-up the championship there. Still a pretty decent trophy, John, but obviously it's not the trophy you wanted, but still an amazing showing from you this year.
Yeah, for sure. You know, vice champion is, you know, something you know, to be proud of. Obviously we came in to win the championship, but yeah, I mean, still a super strong season. You know, I want to say a massive thank you to all my supporters, my sponsors, my family, and you know, JHR. They've given me an awesome car all year, and yeah, learnt loads, and you know, and also obviously congratulations to Louis. You know, he's a very deserving champion, and also, you know, well done to Timek. You know, the three of us have, you know, raced each other all year, and it's been a great season. So.
Obviously GB3 is always very competitive, but actually, you know, you've been here for 3 years now, and this is possibly the strongest year when it comes to the championship battle, because you've had Timek pushing you and Louis the whole way. Yeah, for sure. You know, the three of us have been up the top in pretty much every race this year. You know, it's been a very, very tough fight, but you know, that's the best way to improve, and yeah, I mean, it's been a great year, and hopefully we can keep racing each other for years to come. So. In terms of plans for next year, I know you're not going to tell me anything, but I've just said to Louis that Spain's kind of nice, maybe next month. Are you maybe going to check it out? Yeah, might be checking it out. Yeah, I mean, F3 is a dream for next year. Not sure yet if it's going to happen, but yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll have a trip to Spain in a couple of weeks. Excellent. Well, whatever you do, best of luck, and it's been great having you here in the GB3 Championship. Thank you. Cheers. There we go. John Bennett with JHR Developments. We'll quickly get Timek Kaharczyk in. I think drivers need to go and move their cars, possibly. Timek, again, like with John, I know it's not the trophy you wanted, but when you see this, I mean, it's pretty special, right? Let's see this. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah, it is special. Big thank you to all the supporters this year, because it's been absolutely amazing. Dziękuję Polska. And yeah, really happy, you know. We ended on P3 in a championship, but it's not what we wanted, let's say. But in the end, it's another podium. So yeah. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, some of these people were running across here to make sure they were here for this in time. So they've done a great job, but you've also done a great job as well. And obviously you're fighting against drivers like John, who's done this for 3 seasons, and Louis, you know, who's absolutely stormed F4 when he's come here. I think you've done really, really well. I mean, any plans of what you're going to do next, or is it way too early to say? It's too early yet, for sure. We're still fighting the matchup, but you know, I think considering that I'm racing a lot, you know, mostly British drivers that raced here on these tracks for most of their career, it's not too bad. I've got only 2 years to learn it, to experience it, and you know, it's completely different what I've been used to. So yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with the job we did this year with High Tech GP. They've been super supportive. We've been probably the quickest guys on most of the weekends, so it's been great. Obviously want to have a bit more, but you know, it's in the end a few little mistakes costed us this championship, but anyway, it's been a really strong season, so thank you to all. It's been great to have you here. Obviously, you know, High Tech Pulsate very dominant for a large part of the season as well, so great teamwork from all of you guys as well. We'll let you continue celebrating. Congratulations. Thank you. There we go. Timek Kaharczyk, who came third. Who are we bringing in now? Oh, there he is, Mr. Piers Pryor. I mean, did you have fans like this when you were racing? Were they there, like waving pink flags with your pink helmet on, Pryor in that Comic Sans font?
No.
Why not? No. What's that all about? Are we bringing any other drivers in?
I think that the drivers have actually had to go and take their cars back to the paddock because they're in the pit lane. So
don't want to get a parking ticket when you've just won a race or whatever. There we go. So basically, like that race. I mean, obviously we've talked about the championship, and I know that takes precedent. I saw Nikita Johnson and his dad celebrating, and like they were like celebrating what everyone else was mobbing Louis Sharp there, which must be really, really hard, given that he kept someone that's moved on to FIA F3 and done pretty well towards the end of the season. He kept him behind him in a track that Callum Voisin knows way better than he does.
Yeah, and it wasn't just in terms of not making a mistake. Callum Voisin was actually giving him genuine pressure, as in we had an overlap a couple of times. You saw him on the outside of Hawthorne's a couple of times, then he had to defend in other places, but no, brilliant drive from Nikita. Another race win. Who knows, hopefully we'll see him back again next year. Of course, he only did a partial season this year because he wasn't old enough. Won a lot out in America. It'd be great to see him back next year, but who knows? Yeah, and also, you know, shout out to his dad as well. I know there's a lot of parents that follow drivers around, but his dad is a huge character in the paddock, always around. And I have to say also, I really enjoyed watching that battle between Jared Roberski and Will McIntyre. Jared, obviously a driver we've had for a couple of years in GB3, 1 year in GB4 as well, and
and Will certainly showing that he was right to be in the title fight coming up to this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. Will McIntyre, again, another rookie, of course, finished just behind Louis Sharp in the previous championship last year. Was right up in the championship battle in the middle of the year. Unfortunately, just a few little errors and bits and pieces just meant that he wasn't quite in the fight at the end of the year, but still pushing on, showing he can overtake, showing he's got great speed and confidence. So I'm sure it'd be great to see him back, whether we will or not. Of course, time will only tell. If you want to find out whether your drivers at home are going to be returning, make sure you follow them on Instagram and their social medias. There'll be announcements coming out in the following weeks, I'm sure.
And for people wondering why I'm talking about Spain, by the way, now they've gone, that's where the F3 testing is. So a couple of the drivers, I think, have maybe got a couple of plane tickets to the Costa del. I don't know if it's actually the Costa del Sol, but I'll just assume that's Spain.
I think it's Barcelona.
I mean, it's near the Costa del Sol, probably. My Spanish geography is terrible. There's like a sea, actually, of New Zealand and Polish flags all trailing away to the paddocks there. But I mean, those drivers will be posting content all across their social media. But for that, that's it for us here on this live stream. Thank you very much for watching all year. We've had 23 excellent races. All of those races you can watch back exactly where you're watching this right now. And of course, make sure you're following the GB3 Championship for new driver announcements for next year. And of course, that was the last ever race with this car. That car, I know, that car will go on to become the new GB4 car next year with modifications, which is really exciting. And next year is a whole different beast. We have a brand new GB3 car. You can see some previews of that on the GB3 website. I think next year is going to go to the next level.
And first round next year is that Silverstone Grand Prix circuit for GB3 as well, so that's going to be
so excited. And actually, Piers is most excited because he wants to get in that car and test it like he did with GB4. But honestly, truly exciting. Thank you for being with us this whole year. Thanks to MSV and everyone at Onside Productions. And we'll see you in about, I don't know, maybe an hour's time for the final GB4 race of the championship, as we have that all decided, but there's still a lot to play for as drivers want to end on a high. Thank you for watching. We'll be back for GB4 here at Brands Hatch.